Hello, everyone. Welcome to Confidence Through Cabaret, the podcast. We are so excited for today's guest. My name is Heather.
And I'm Ryan.
And we just so glad that you're here. It's important that you're here. Our theme this month is New Horizons and all things new and wonderful. Ryan, are you excited for our guest today?
Oh my goodness, I really am. Today we are super excited because we get to welcome Martha Mock. Martha is the super confidence coach. She's a motivational speaker, entrepreneur, multi-award winning international makeup artist, hairstylist, author, literally just an all-round badass, and we are so excited to be welcoming them to the podcast today. Hey Martha, how are you doing?
I am wonderful. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. Now my face a little bit wet, huh?
It's my goal. I want to make you blush.
Oh, you are so welcome here, Martha. And super confidence coach. Where does that come from?
I have to thank my partner because when I started my coaching journey, I feel like that the only thing that I could be really proud of was my confidence, despite what my colorful life have been. So I thought that maybe I wanted to go into either success coaching or confident coaching. And he said, there's so many confident coach out there. Why don't you call yourself a super confident coach? And I'm like, really? I can do that? Oh, a bit scared there. But you know what? 3 months into it, the more you do it, the more you believe in yourself, breaking through all those BS that we give ourselves. And I say, okay, I really own the name. And feeling like that is what they say in the NLP terms, that you are consciously and unconsciously competent in what you do. And that's when the true confidence shine.
Amazing. For those of you not familiar with NLP, that's neuro-linguistic programming, and that's about kind of how we process and our neural pathways connect with language, and that we have programming, all of us, and we can reprogram. So I love that Martha's talking about this super confidence coach, because you do step into it, right? You do. It's like face it until you are it, and you did that, and that's so inspiring.
Oh, thank you for that.
So would you like to, I was just going to say the same thing. Yeah, go for it. Go do it.
How did you get into NLP work? I mean, it's such a fascinating field. What drew you to it?
My partner is also an NLP pack as well, and he's also a coach. He was the one who inspired me during the COVID time when it hit Australia last year. I got a multiple business in wedding industry. I put all the egg in one basket, thinking that, you know what, there's only two things that will happen in life. One is getting married, the other one's going to a funeral. So I picked wedding for a living. So I thought that would go on forever, and still COVID hit, everything shut down. I'm like, this is going to be a challenge for us, and we don't know what's going to happen. And my partner, super amazing, Malcolm, that he's super amazing. And he suggested me and said, why don't you take up into life coaching? Looking into the way you talk, I can see you on stage talking to thousands of people. I'm like, really? I can do that? Oh, okay. And then I just started out my journey, and it has been very, very amazing. And life just takes you to different places as well. When you believe into it and give into it, take up the signals, and you can go a lot further than what you can believe. I started out as a confident coach, helping women to break through their own belief, their BS, and everything that is stopping them from moving forward, and what is holding in their past. And in 3 months of into my coaching business, I was able to make what all coaches dream of, like the 10K month, which I'm like, that's what they all say. But I was able to do that continuously for 6 months after that as well. It's like, and everyone started to ask me, oh my God, how did you do it? How do you do it? I'm like, I think I use my experience in running multiple businesses and use it in the coaching world, and it worked. And so I transitioned into doing a business coaching for new coaches to help them to cut through all the confusion. You have no idea how confusing our coaching world is. There's so many courses available, but I wanted to give some clarity and simplify the whole coaching process so they can be ready to go and help another person. And it did hit me a little bit as well, because my goal is to help women who does not have a voice. My mission is to have no woman to suffer in silence. And it sort of hit me in my thinking. It's like, oh, if I stop doing my confident coaching, what would those women be? But then one trauma coach that I met at a boot camp, and she told me that, hey, you know what? The people who wants to have the confidence for themselves, they will still come to you. But what you're doing, you're helping other coaches to be the shine, the jewel of themselves, so they can go and spread the love and help more people. And that is my why of becoming a coach.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, in the
Love that.
position that you're in, you
Mm.
you don't not only help people, but you know that those people help other people. So
Mm.
it's just this like ripple effect, isn't it?
Oh, so beautiful. It is a lot more than I could imagine. I joined the makeup industry because I believe all of us are beautiful, regardless of age, how many wrinkles we have, how big our eyes is, how fat is our face look. Regardless of all of that, we are all individual, unique, and beautiful, just the way we are. Being a makeup artist allowed me to share with all the women out there who have insecurity and body image issues, to let them know that they can be beautiful too. And that has always been my mission for 16 years. Not knowing becoming a coach, it led me to even further. Not just the outside, but the inside, that they can feel truly confident about themselves. And that was the biggest reward that I have in my life. And at the moment, I'm working on my non-profit organization to give coachings to other women out there who've been through what I've been through, and at the stage that they cannot afford a coach. I am so surprised of how coaching can help a woman. So I wanted to offer some coaching methods with the team of coaches that donated their time to help them to get started and back in focus in themselves. So that's the non-profit organization I'm working on.
Amazing.
That's incredible
Absolutely
work.
beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And you're all I mean I like I don't even know which strand to pick. Okay, let's let's not start a new strand yet. Let's go back to making women feel beautiful. A lot of times the makeup industry gets a hard pass because people will say, well, you shouldn't need makeup to feel beautiful. You should feel beauty from within and all of those things. How did you find using like hair and makeup and it caused people to feel beautiful, or made that connection between the inside and how they feel and how they look on the outside?
I get that question asked a lot, Heather. The truth is, makeup is only a tool. It's not about how much we put on. It's about what makes us feel good. If I feel like putting a lipstick on that
Oh,
day, if that makes you feel better, go and do it. It's not about I have to have a pink lipstick instead of a green lipstick, because green lipstick does not make me feel good. It's not about that. It's just about using a tool, just like eating, like it's just an essential item for other people to fill you up. So if makeup is a tool that we can use to make ourselves be better, that's what makeup is. It doesn't matter what other people say, because everyone have different belief. What we like about something, for example, ice cream, what I like, how I like ice cream, and how Heather like ice cream, how Ryan like ice cream is completely different. So our belief is only true to us. So based on that, we can do whatever we like, as long as we understand that whatever happened, what other people do, we respect their model of the world, and that will free you up from so much pressure and so much fear from within.
yeah, I love that you say that. We talk a lot about, kind of using tools that help us engage in a character, or the characteristics of ourselves that are the most confident, which is why I always have my pink lipstick on hand. Listeners of the show will know that, because I just, that's my power tool. Um, and I guess I'm wondering, for a lot of people listening, when they don't feel good about their body or how they look, or you're absolutely right. It isn't about the external thing. How you look on the outside is very much related to how you're feeling on the inside. So
Mm.
how do you speak to that when someone is not feeling beautiful on the inside?
I have to ask them what is holding them back, because there's
Yeah.
always the question that is not just on the top, it's always underneath the iceberg. Only 10% of our speech and the things that we do are coming from the conscious mind. 90% of our action is actually in the unconscious mind. And by asking the quality questions, you will get the quality answer from what is truly behind them. For example, someone who suffer from alcohol, having alcoholic issues, it's not about the alcohol giving them pleasure. It's actually the loneliness and the emptiness they feel inside. So by filling that gap, if makeup can do that for them, why not use that as a tool? If if helping another people, going to community project and do that, that's another tool to do it as well. And when people looking at addiction and things like that, they often have a resistance and say, oh, that's their problem, they're not loving themselves, they don't have any self-love, that's why they're doing it. It's not that. It's because they are missing something in that 90% of underlayer of them within. So by recognizing what that is, that truly can help them to surface up and take control in their life again.
Wow. I love that. I love that. Now, we were talking just before the show about how difficult it can be to be able to share your vulnerability. And even for a lot of us, certainly for me at different stages, it's even been hard to acknowledge the vulnerability, let alone share it with other people. How because I just that triggered that thought, because I'm thinking, if I'm going to say to a coach, I'm lonely, or to a friend or whomever, I'm lonely, and therefore I'm spending my evenings doing whatever, and it's then there's a vulnerability in that, isn't there? And I think we very often avoid the pain of facing that vulnerability. How did you learn to face that vulnerability?
The first thing I have to do is to trust myself that it's not my fault, whatever happened to me. To trust the people who I speak to are having the knowledge, having the intelligence of listening and not judging. That, we cannot control what other people do, but we can control what is happening in our environment as well. So you can choose who you be vulnerable and opening up to. And like before the show, we're talking about, is there anything that you can't talk about? I can tell you the truth. 11 months ago, no one knows my story. No one knows that I've been abused for 19 years in my abusive marriage. No one knows that I was being bullied at school since the age of 6. No one knows, this is the hardest for me to admit, was sexually molested by someone that I trust. No one know about that. It took me about 6 months to actually release everything out and be very comfortable talking about today. So for those of us who find vulnerability is such a scary thing to do, I can tell you, you do not need to do bungee jump. You don't need to jump off a high-rise building. You just need to take little bunny step at a time and share it with the people you can trust. There's so many of us out there, because when I was in depression and going for trauma therapy, I thought that I was the only one. I was ashamed of my past. I'm ashamed of other people getting to know me more. I'm ashamed of sharing my story, and I'm guilty. I feel guilty that I was the cause of the problem. I was the cause of all this pain and suffering. But once we realize that, say, hey, trust myself that I deserve more. That's the first step. I deserve more, and I am worthy. So from that, slowly, I started to get professional help. And when you get professional help, you're starting to open up more. I still remember one of the sentences I said to my trauma therapist was, love means pain. And she didn't correct me at that time. She just said, oh, okay, that's your feel. Okay, so how else that can we see into the situation? And it is because of that after a few sessions working with my trauma therapist, and I've realized that, hey, love doesn't mean that I have to be pain. Yes, there's good days, there's bad days, but it doesn't necessarily equal to pain. So what else have I not tried? Not what I have tried and why. No. What else have I not tried in my life to make sure that my love does not equal pain? So by understand that what I haven't tried, it really opens up the option for us. When we're in a corner, when we're in a dark place, we often see that, no, I tried everything. I can't do this. I can't do that. I have tried. And we keep telling ourselves there's no option. Only when the time that we realize that there's option available, the light will come in. There's another channel for us to go for. So believing that there is light out there, that is also a first step of trust, that we need to trust there is help out there.
Yeah. That's a really beautiful message, and it's a really important message if
Absolutely.
you feel that you are struggling or suffering and you're alone. And it doesn't need to you don't need to have gone through the things that others have gone through. I know I've been guilty in the past about saying, well, but it could have been worse. It could have been this, and it could have been that. And that's, it's not if you're suffering and you're struggling, there is help, there is support. You just need to find and trust.
And ask for help. That was the big one. I didn't ask for help because I was successful on stage. And you know what? When someone tell me that I need to have more self-love, I actually said F off. That's the truth, because I thought I love myself. I live well, I dress well, I eat well. What am I not loving myself on? But I didn't love myself at the deepest level, that 90% of unconsciousness, that needs of feeling accepted, that needs of being appreciated, that need of not being feeling lonely by myself. And it's like when I was going to my dating world, I always say to the guy to filter them out. Online dating, that's what happens. And I said a few things that I want from a guy: a sense of safety, security, and a sense of belonging. And that sense of belonging is not my belonging to him. It's my belonging to me, that I can be myself next to him. So based on that, I filter out a lot of different people over a year and a half until I find my ideal partner, which is my current partner at the moment, which is amazing. And I know that a lot of us who've been through abusive marriage or trauma relationship, it's very hard for us to trust again. But and even for some of my friends, like, how can you keep going? How do you keep going? Oh my God, you met so many of these people and you just don't give up and keep trying. My answer is very simple. If you don't go and buy a lottery ticket, how do you know you're going to win a lotto? It's simple as that. It's just because that we don't give up, and knowing that I deserve happiness.
Yeah.
I am worthy. That is the truly turning point for me to keep going and finding that motivation. It's like motivation. A lot of people say, hey, how do I get more motivated? The truth is to find out your why. Find out why you want to be motivated. Otherwise, get an alarm clock. That really helps too. That's actually the truth. So find out your why. My why is because I decided to step out of my 19 years marriage on my 40th birthday, that I said that enough was enough. I was so unhappy at that life that I said that I don't want to live more than 60 years old. So I have 20 years old left in my life. What do I want to do? So that's how I become having that little bit of courage to step out from my thing. And when I left him, there was nothing left. He took all my money. I even gave him one of my car, and I was left with nothing but a cat. But when I asked the universe to give me what I need and support me, things does come. And I got like a very lovely client giving me 2 jobs and give me a few $1,000s that I just afford to move out of that place, finding a new place. I got my friend that emptied out her apartment and said, hey, you don't need to give me a bond because I couldn't even afford it at that time. I said, but I can pay you the rent. I just can't give you a bond. I said, yeah, no problem. Just come in. So all I needed to do was ask for help. And like when I'm moving as well, I met this wonderful lady who does decluttering. She helped me to move out my whole house, not just her and her whole family, and become really good friends. And it's just because I asked for help. As long as you're willing to ask, no one will look down on you. The people who doesn't understand your story is not the whole world. Remember this, they are not the whole world. There is people out there like Heather, like Ryan, like myself, are willing to listen to your story and send you to the right path.
Yeah, that's such amazing insight and advice and inspiration. I think I've been through some of the similar circumstances as yourself, and I still find every once in a while I'll find a little trigger, and I'll think, oh, I didn't know I had that, but now I do, Now I know how to handle that. And we get, sometimes it's about the passage of time. And so, we ask for help and we do the work, and then we think, oh, well, then now it should be done now. You've got a new partner. Come on, Martha, you've got but there are things for each of us that we find triggering, and it's just about recognizing that, doing that work about what is that, and learning about it. And I spent most of my adult life just ignoring it. The way I managed all of my garbage was to just be even busier. So I never asked the question, how do I feel? Right?
Exactly. That's me. That's me. I'm a complete pure workaholic because of how unhappy I was. Yeah. I didn't want to stay at home.
Yeah, just keep on being busy and then never ask yourself the question, how do I feel? It comes up eventually, because it does. It just does. And the easier path, if there is such a thing, is to ask for help and start to take, as you say, little bunny hops. Because otherwise something like COVID happens and ta-da, all the stuff comes out of the box all at once, and I think, that then it's a lot to work with. And so, having a trusted friend or a coach or a therapist, depending what you need, is just kind of being able to take those bunny hops with somebody there to kind of pick you up from the puddle that you can end up in.
Definitely. And I have to be very, very honest as well. And sometimes triggers does come back. It's like recently I was going for a photo shoots with my whole family, and my new partner can join on that day. When I was putting my makeup on, I actually started to shake. I started to feel like that feeling, who the hell am I to be so happy? And I went into that thinking of, really, do I deserve it? Like, who the hell am I? I finally got a photo shoot with my partner and my family. We're all a family that loving each other. My God, this is such a shock for me. What's going on? And I told my partner, what he said to me? One sentence only. He didn't tell me that, baby, I love you or anything like that. No. He told me, go and read your 5 books. All the 5 books that you've written, just go and read it. And I'm like,
wow.
Okay, you're right. What BS am I telling myself that I'm not good enough and I don't deserve this happiness? You're right, baby. And it immediately got me back up on a smile. And that's what I mean by having that trust, to be vulnerable to one person that you really trust. And they could be multiple person. As your time goes, you trust more people. But to the one person that you need, they can pick you up just like that. Instead of you drilling into that emotion for a long time, one logical question really helped to solve all the emotions.
Absolutely. It puts things into perspective, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely.
So you use lots of different strategies to help people uncover their fears and their barriers. We've talked a little bit about NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming. What else do you use in your super confidence coach practice?
I feel like that is what I use as well for myself to get myself out of a certain thing. I use reality and simple techniques to talk to ourselves, because when we are in an emotional state, everything becomes a very touchy. But we can simply get ourselves out of that emotion by asking ourselves a logical question. The logical question can really break everything. Just for example, if someone is bullying you or putting a bad comment on your social media, you have 2 options. In your head, you think about, okay, do they pay my bills? Do they clean my garbage? They don't. Okay, they don't matter. First thing. Second thing to do is, there's always this hidden message and block button and delete as well. Very good to use. And they're out of your life already. You don't need to use your 100% RAM in your brain to save 30% of them to go into their emotion and worry because they are unhappy with their life and they put a comment out. It's not your part to actually fix them unless they pay you. That's a different story. But if not, then it doesn't matter. So the delete and block and hidden button is very, very good to use, because you ask yourself that logical question: how is that person going to affect my real life, my reality? Not my emotion, but my reality. If they don't put food on my table, they don't clean my kid's bottom, they don't scrape out my cat's litter, it doesn't do anything to help me. So if that's the case, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. And then let it go. I love
Let it
that.
go. I
I'm
was saying,
fully
let
going to
it
use that from
go,
now on.
let it go.
And that's
Oh,
anytime someone is difficult towards me, I'm just going to say, "You don't clean out my cat's litter." Like
Yeah.
that's my favorite new phrase.
I think, Ryan, it's even more suiting because we know each other rather well. You should
Uh-oh.
say, you don't clean my child's bottom.
Mhm. Exactly.
Oh my God.
Then who are they to judge you on what you
Exactly.
do,
Yeah,
what you
seriously.
say, and how
Yeah.
you act?
Yeah.
And actually, you know what? I know it's difficult and tricky with families.
Mm,
But it's not that different with people in our lives who we spend time with, who limit us by their own self-limiting beliefs, or who
mhm,
suck the energy out of us because
mhm,
it's some sort of way of keeping us down. Or what,
mm,
it's not a delete button, but it
mm,
is a walk away from those things
mm,
if you're not able to express yourself and say,
mm,
this is how I'm feeling, can we talk about it,
mm,
can we
mm,
resolve this?
mm.
And if you can, then it's time to walk away from that too.
Hidden. That's the way the hidden button is. You don't need to delete them, but you just need to hidden it. Again, go back to a sentence that I find that it helps me every single time my blood starting to boil in my head. And I ask myself that respect the other people model of the world. It is their things, their insecurity, their way of seeing the world. It has nothing to do with me. It's not my fault. And I need no need to put any emotion into it. That really helped me to calm my blood pressure, stay away from the blood pressure tablet. And it's very good to calm yourself down.
Yeah, yeah. And it's so important because we can make better decisions and we can process information and emotion in a much better way when our central nervous system is calm and when we're, when we're able to see things more clearly as opposed to being reactive.
Definitely.
I was gonna ask as well, because sometimes I find that there's, because of the amazing amount of self-doubt that gets put into people's minds when they're in that situation, when they've been made to feel so small and stuff. Sometimes they can sit there and sort of go, well, I don't know if it's me or if it's them. There's that weird cognitive dissonance. How do you help somebody get to that point where they can sort of go, okay, this is not a me issue, this is a them issue?
First thing is to accept yourself. I am allowed to be selfish to me. So I can control what is coming into me. I'm not controlling them, but I'm controlling myself or what I'm having that into my brain. We get about 2 million bits of information from the external world, but in ourselves, there's only 134 bits per second of information going into our brain, going into our filter. So we can control where our focus is. Just like when someone say to you, you dress horribly. That jacket looks so old and so wrinkly. First thing, we respect the other people of the world. Second thing, thank you for your comment. It was lovely meeting you. That's it. That's all you have to say. Because anytime that you try to fight back, you're wasting your 134 bits in your brain. So I would prefer just say, thank you for your opinion. Have a nice day. A bully cannot bully you anymore if you do not react. That is one key thing. And it's hard to do. I'm not saying that you can do it tomorrow, but you can starting to say just a simple word, thank you. That's
Yeah.
it. That's all you have to do. Instead of triggering the defensive system, that is the main thing. And allow yourself to be selfish to you first. I used to be that person in the plane thinking that why do they ask us to put our mask on first before we put it to the people next to us? As a woman, as someone that who's so caring, of course I would give it to the child next to me or the old lady that is next to me. Of course I would do that. But why do I need to put that mask on first? Just like when the moment that I feel like, what are you talking about self-love? I love myself. I didn't know that I need to make sure I am enough first. I am fulfilled. And that cup there is full before I can give it to another person. So by putting out myself first, being selfish to myself first, this is the best decision I ever made in my life. It's not about being egotistic. It's about being realistic, because who matter the most? What they're thinking or how I'm feeling?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm finally allowed to put myself first and say, hey, this is me that I need to look after first, because without me fixing myself, I cannot give to other people. And that was one learning that I truly got during all of this training.
Amazing.
I love
Amazing.
that.
And how we respond to others is
Mm,
always a choice for us.
mm, mhm,
You know, nobody made you feel that way. You
mhm,
choose your response. So you can
mhm,
choose to say thank you, or you can choose to fight back, or you
mhm,
can choose to feel however you feel, or you
mhm.
can choose a different response. But we always have responsibility.
Exactly. And it's like recently I heard a sentence talking about a certain person who's complained about their whole family, sort of know who it is, very publicly. And someone actually say, if that person is fulfilled and complete and secure in their heart, they will not have all this complaint. So again,
Yeah.
it is because of their insecurity, of their unhappiness. It has nothing to do with you. And it's just like someone said, okay, we often ask that question, even in a relationship or with kids and things like that. We ask, why are you angry at me? And what would that happen? Immediately blow up even bigger, because that person is looking for all the reason that you did wrong, and they will put you down. But instead, think about it. What is the best way to counteract that? Thank you for your opinion. I appreciate you. And I will take that into consideration.
Yeah. Yeah.
Immediately, that fire and everything stop, because they can't say anything more. If they still going on and say, I understand, time to step out.
Yeah, and there's sometimes in our lives when people aren't even really meaning to be inflammatory, or they're not
Mm,
even really, we take it that way because of
mm,
who we are. So we see the
mhm,
world as we are, not as it is. So
mhm,
there are sometimes, and I'm just reflecting on times with my children where they're not actually meaning to be, rude or talking back or whatever. It's just,
mm,
but I take it that way because
mhm,
because of how I am inside of me as well. And it is worth checking back in with yourself if you're starting to
mm,
find that other people are just annoying or winding you up. It's like check back in with what's going on with me.
mhm,
Because for some reason I'm not able to say thank you for your opinion. I'll take that into
mm,
consideration. For some reason I'm feeling reactive. Then check in with
mhm,
yourself and sort of think, okay, what's going on? And did I hear that right?
mhm.
Or so it's hard to understand somebody else's intention if our internal is really wound up. So I think
Yeah.
I think if you because it's such great advice, but there are some times when I've thought, I know that I need to control the controllables. I know I can choose my own response, but I want to be mad.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm
Then go
choosing
somewhere
mad.
else. Yeah, then go somewhere else to actually be met in that. There's always a choice. And I have to admit that I used to be a train as well. When someone that who fight things at me, I will just bite back, because I'm the confident woman, isn't it? I'll just bite back without any holding back. But then I learned the situation doesn't get better. So what is the benefit? Again, what is the return on investment? So since there's no return in investment, okay, I need to find another way. What else have I not tried?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't tried to be actually understanding and listening, or starting to walk away first. Calm myself before I bring up that questions again. Okay, that's something that I haven't tried. Okay, I'll go and try it and see what happens. And once we see the return on investment is working, then our brain will logically say, hey, this work. Okay, I'll file it in my unconscious mind. So the more you do it, the better you become.
Yes.
Mm,
Great, great, great advice. Great advice. So let's shift a little bit into
mm,
imposter syndrome,
mm,
which is something that Ryan and I spend a lot of time
Oh my goodness, yes.
sharing. And I shifted there because um, because you mentioned that you have written several books. And you started to tell us a story, and I said, "Wait, save it for the podcast," about how you ended up writing a book. Would you share that with us?
I would love to. It was during COVID time when we were first in lockdown. And I feel really sorry for the people who were in lockdown and getting very bored and getting loss of motivation and seeing life, because uncertainty and confusion can cause all our mind to create little stories in our head that is not real. So I wanted to be able to give something to the people that they can just like a 2-minute pick you up sort of read. And I've been always telling myself I am not someone that who can speak English properly. I don't have written English. I don't have grammar. And I'm like, who the hell am I to write a book? But it was because of the passion that I want to help. Yes, I don't know how to use graphic. I'm very technology challenged. And I say, okay, but I will ask for help and see what happens. So I got a designer to come and help me to fix it up here and there. I go online and search, okay, what is the book design that I can design? And then people started to help me with correcting my grammar in the book. And so that's how the first book came out. And I was so grateful for that, because it was my love to the people that got me through my imposter syndrome, thinking that I'm not good enough and I don't have a story to tell. Again, it's finding out the why you're doing it. My objective was to help other people. So that pushed me through all that barrier of, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what is this. And honestly, to today, if I look at that book, I really want to redo it again with all the graphic and everything. Like, honestly, I'm looking at that. It's like, ooh, I'm not so sure about now. Compared to my latest book, I'm like, ooh. But you know what? It's a learning path. And someone just tell me, you know what? That's your learning path. So that's your first book. Yeah, that's true. This is my first book. Okay, let it out and let it be. And it's a learning as well. And now I'm on my 5th book. I'm so proud of myself. I did all the graphic myself, did all of that, and just got someone to, like, thank God for Grammarly, go and check it out. And then I sent it to them, and send it to one of my students, like, can you just have a quick look for me if that's good or not? And no major changes anymore. I used to hire a copywriter to actually go and fix all of that for me. But it's just a learning and improvement. We don't know how much power we have in ourselves by telling us that we are not good enough, we are worthless, we are just like, who the hell am I to be this such person? Just like I was telling all of you before, super confident coach took me 3 months to get used to it. Writing my first book, it did take me about a week to think about it. Thinking about it until it's like Melbourne going into a really bad lockdown. I'm like, okay, I need to do something for people. I need to help them out to make them feel better. I'm kind of an industry leader in our makeup world. So I say there's so many of us that are affected. They need support. They need help. They need that little bit of a spike to help them out. All I did was put all my content together and put it into a book. There's 24 pages, done. It wasn't a big thing. I think I finished that book in about 7 hours, but it took 3 days for the editor to actually edit it. So you can imagine how bad it was. but it still happened. It does happen. And after I've done my first book, I see other people in having a certain issue. I write another book, and then I got invited to a joining book in the Global Achiever, and that one is on Amazon. And it's like, so that's a collaborated book. And then by the time I realize I'm on my 5th book already.
Wow.
Who is this person that 11 months ago telling myself that I'm not good enough because my ex-husband told me that I was worthless every single day for 19 years? No. He no longer have control over me. I am in control of my life. And I can't go back to my past to fix what happened. So I don't want to spend my 134 bits in there. What I can control is how I feel now and what I'm going to do next. I'm not even looking at the future too much, even that finally, because of my new partner, I finally see a future that we can be together. There's something more that I want to look forward to more than 60 years old. So that's a credit to him. But in saying that, I'm not looking at like my future have to be like this. I need to live in a house next to the beach and stuff like that. No. Let things be, but be happy and joyful about what is coming to you. Just like today, we connected, we have a chance to share, we have a chance to love and laugh. Isn't that amazing? And the
Yes.
universe will always bring the people who will help you and support you when you ask for it. So stop telling yourself all those negative words. I'm not pretty enough. My eyes is too small. How am I going to do a Facebook Live? Oh my God, I don't have makeup on. I need to go and get my hair cut first. The truth is, I did an experiment. 9 days doing Facebook Live. And I particularly did not style my hair, did not put makeup on, in bad lighting, didn't dress well. No one told me that I wasn't good enough. Everyone told me how amazing my message was. So think about it that way. Is your message more important, or how you worry about how other people judge you is important? I once heard this sentence: when you're older, you will stop worrying about what other people think. It's because you realize other people are too worried about how other people think of them. So it's a really wise sentence that I learned as the more older I get. Like, I'm not young, I'm 43 already this year. So I'm not young, and I feel like that there's so much more in the world that we can do once we can put our fear and that guess, that imposter in us, and we can expand so much more.
Wow. Thank you for sharing
Thank
that.
you.
No
Thank you.
problem.
Amazing. Amazing. I will talk to you after. I
Uh-huh.
will give you my time to help
Uh-huh.
people who can't afford coaches who've been through
Oh,
tough times.
thank you. Thank you. Yes, we are only going into, I will probably share with everyone. I'm doing a project called the Confident Project. It's to help women who've been into a tough situation who cannot afford a coach.
Yeah.
I'm inviting all coaches who give up only 4 hours of their time, giving them 4 sessions, and that will completely change someone's life, because
Yeah.
I was one of them. I was someone who did not have money. I was someone who been took everything off me. So if it wasn't for someone who giving me their time and their support to pick me up, I would never be where I am right now. So
Yeah.
having that ability, we can share, we can love. So I welcome you, Heather, to come and actually help us on our course.
Yeah. I've been there too. I have.
Mm,
And
mm.
I think your cause is worthy isn't even enough. It's not, I don't know what a better word is, but I wish I could think of one, because it is
Mm,
beyond worthy. So thank you
mm.
for putting that out there into the world.
Thank
And
you.
I would love to be part of it.
Thank you. I will definitely with you.
So, Martha, we have a few things that we like to ask
Yes.
to learn a little bit more about you as a cabaret persona that we haven't talked about. So at this point, you're
Okay.
probably freaking out, going, "Wait, what?"
No, I don't mind.
So if you were to do a cabaret act, so bear in mind that cabaret could be, singing, dancing, comedy, drag, burlesque, you name it. So if you were going out onto stage in your amazing cabaret performance, which I have no doubt it would be, what one tool or item or article would you like to take with you onto stage?
The feather fans.
Yes.
I love it. It's so sexy, so
Yeah.
feminine, so beautiful, and I can cover any places that I don't want to see. So there you go. It's fantastic. It's my safety song over there. It's amazing. I love it.
Beautiful.
God love a feather fan.
Do you have a color in mind?
Oh, I love pink, so why not?
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Classic.
Beautiful, beautiful. And what would your stage name be? What would Ryan be introducing you as?
I would love to be called a unicorn.
I love that. Just like the mononym, just like the unicorn.
The unicorn.
I love that.
I always say that in my dating times, I actually reply to guys as that I'm a unicorn that brings joy and happiness. That's who I am.
Love that.
Amazing. Okay, so if you have to pick one, what is your favorite? Not even your biggest, but whatever your favorite lesson is that you've learned this far in your life. What is it?
The favorite lesson that I have learned in life is to be vulnerable. It was one of the things that was hardest for me after 30 years of being in silence. And I learned that being vulnerable, being able to ask, have brought me so much joy, so much freedom, and it lifts up so much guilt. It lifts up so much barriers in my heart. So I would encourage everyone to start to trust, to start to be vulnerable. That is the best gift that one person can give to you.
Oh, thank you.
Honestly, that was beautiful. Thank you. That really was. That really was. Oh.
Really beautiful.
And I guess I have one more question for you.
Sure.
One question, just the one, I promise. Where can we find you?
I am all over social media.
Yes, you are.
I know, I'm a little bit like that. If you search for a super confident coach, I'm actually first one to come up on Google, thanks to my partner giving me that name. The other ways that you can find me is I have a Linktree link that I have sent it to Heather already, and you can click in there to find all of them about me. Another way that I wanted to, for all of you to contact with me is I would love to share 2 of my books to you. One of them is called 5 Don't Survive, Even Times Are Tough. That's the one that I write during COVID times for the people. It's my first book, so be nice and be kind with it. The second thing is, again, is the message that matters, not the graphic. The second book that I wanted to give out is Action is Proof. I wrote that book during when my cat died. I have her for 16 years. And she was the only thing that I have during my marriage. And when she died earlier in the year, I took 3 months to get over it. Yeah. So during that time, I had the choice. What makes it even worse was my ex-husband came back and texted me and blamed me for her death and telling me that I'm the worst person in the world. That hit me hard and triggered so many bad memories in me. So it caused a lot of fear. So that night, I still remember. When I got up in the morning, I told my partner he's going to work. Can you go and feed the cat and dog? Because I don't feel like getting out of bed. And he understand, giving me time to get over myself. And he feed the cat and dog. And I was lying in bed and thinking, do I let him control me? Or do I let myself control myself? So I got up and started to cook myself a breakfast. I immediately feel better. And I was still feeling low. Guess what? I started cleaning the house. And I hate cleaning, okay? Just to let everyone know that. But I started cleaning the house and mopping and everything. And I feel even better. So it triggered me of writing this book dedicated to my cat and dedicated to people that who feel like shit, who feel like that they're stuck, who feel like that they want to stay in bed and not get up to do a word. Action is proof. Your action, it doesn't matter how big or small, as simple as just getting yourself up, going to the toilet or having a shower, it already can make you feel better. So I have written that book to help people to pick themselves up whenever they're in the tough situation, so they can have something, a 6-step plan to help them to move again, just to move forward and keep going. Because when you're starting to move forward, you will see a lot more light coming into you. And when you have, when you believe anything is possible, and choose your action to prove it, because you are worth it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So I will give that out to you guys, and please share it with everyone that you want. And in there's also a link that you can contact me if you feel like that you need that little bit of support. I'm very happy to be here to listen to your story, not to sell you anything, but just to listen and send you on your path to help that you want to actually get. So there's a contact me page on the link over there. Feel free to contact me, anyone that who needs support.
Thank you so much. Honestly.
You are a pure joy and inspiration. I could spend all day talking with you.
Oh, lovely.
I feel good. Just from being connected with you.
Good. That's good. Yeah. That's what I wanted to see, the unicorn that brings joy and happiness.
Exactly right.
Yeah, that glittery.
I love
my goodness.
Thank you so much for joining us, Martha. Thank you. Thank you. Do reach out and get in touch with Martha. She's not kidding when she says she's all over the internet. I'm following her everywhere. It's amazing.
My goodness. So I guess all that we have left to say now is, again, thank you everybody who's been listening to this podcast. Thank you everybody who's joining up. I hope that you're all taking advantage of the Linktree and booking on a session or reading this wonderful book by Martha. Thank you again so much for joining us. This has been Confidence Through Cabaret, the podcast. My name is Ryan.
I'm Heather.
I'm Martha.
And we're here to remind you that it is Your body.
Your body.
Body.
Your world.
Your world.
Your stage.
Your stage.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.